0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. Yo, LeBron, if we see this, you're his dad. Must see this. You're talking to the scouts and the evaluators and everybody else. He'll be lucky to be a second-round pick. You're bringing more pressure on your son. LeBron, stop. Yes, I was. I was talking about you. You did this shit.
What is up, world? Welcome back, Charge the Game podcast. It seems like Stephen A. Smith has given the whole LeBron James confrontation some thought and has since then responded on Gil's Arena. He lets it all off his chest in this take, guys. Let's get in here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Thumbs up, like the video. Let's go.
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some bullshit. I stand up and then I got my head turned. And then I turned back around. And a lot of people thought this was the end of the game or something like that. This was in the third quarter. Apparently, LeBron had walked out of the timeout. And I turned around and he's right here in my face. He said, yo, you got to stop talking shit about my son. You got to stop fucking with my son. That's my son. That's my son.
LeBron James choosing to do this in the third quarter. This lets me know that LeBron James had an agenda and that this was planned. LeBron James wanted to wait on the moment to catch Stephen A. Smith and to capitalize off of this moment. And if I have to be honest, I don't think that this is going the way that LeBron James thought it would go, because typically you have a lot of bandwagon jock strap sniffing LeBron sexuals out here defending him. But you see people like Ryan Clark, you see like the media is starting to go against LeBron James. He's so used to anything that he does, people support that. But you're going to see some people like Gilbert Arenas who are still in the LeBron James camp, you know, try to advocate or try to justify why this wasn't too bad of a situation or bad moment for LeBron James, right? But like Ryan Clark said, if this were a LeVar Ball, right, or T. Morant, the father of Ja Morant, then the whole world would be ablaze. You know, basically everybody would be saying that it was classless and that, you know, this is terrible, you know. And if this were any other superstar, I'm talking about a Kevin Durant or Steph Curry-esque type of player, that player would still receive a lot of scrutiny. But LeBron James gets nothing. And this is all blowing up in his face because the media and a lot of content creators like myself are just calling it like it is. Bro, you were wrong. You were foul. And Bronny James, at the end of the day, is still not an NBA player.
He said, nah, fuck that. I said, yo, let's talk later. He's like, fuck that. Nah, fuck that. You got to stop fucking with my son. And I said, all right, though. And he walked off. So I remember during the timeout in the first quarter, seeing Bronny. And Bronny looked over at me. And he had this sad look on his face. And I'm imagining Pop saw that shit. It hit him. And he couldn't hold it. And he rolled up.
Now, Stephen A. Smith saying that Bronny James has this sad look on his face. Welcome to the Big Boys League. Welcome to the NBA. No boys allowed. LeBron James, this is what you pushed for. This is what you advocated for. Unfortunately, Bronny James will continue to suffer. He will continue to be humiliated, even if he proves himself at this point, because the way that he has entered the NBA, no current player respects it, no former player respects it, and no sport fan, period, respects it. So I do hate that, you know, Bronny James, you know, is the victim in this, listening to what his dad wants for him. This is what comes with it. You're going to get a lot of criticism. But on the upside, hey, you got LeBron James as a dad. You got a guaranteed $8 million contract. You got NIL money. You got endorsement money. And at the end of the day, it's not so bad being a James. Trust me. I think a lot of people would trade in their jobs to wear your shoes, Bronny James. So at the end of the day, you have to understand that you have to be a man. And that's exactly what LeBron James has often said. Bronny James is a grown ass man, except when his feelings are hurt. But nonetheless, you still have to be a professional. And I get it. You know, had your son not been on the team, LeBron James, you wouldn't have saw him with a sad puppy face, right? Maybe you would have saw it around the house or whatever. but it hits different when you're actually, in the field. LeBron James should be very familiar with this as he went through the same scrutiny, even worse. And I think that the media is taking it easy on Bronny James.
So when I went on the air the next morning, first things first, believe it or not, I know this is shocking for people to believe, but I didn't have any intentions on talking about it until I woke up that morning and saw that this shit had gone viral. Once the shit had gone viral, the bosses at ESPN, now you got to talk about it. This is you and him. You got to talk about it.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I do think that Stephen A. Smith knows exactly what he's doing. He's on a media run, as you see. He's going to be featured on a lot of podcasts. A lot of people are making content, and it's only growing the Stephen A. Smith show. So I do think that Stephen A. Smith, at the end of the day, he can say what his bosses want. But this is the same person that says, literally, I wake up every day and think of ways to make money for my bosses and then myself. And on top of that, Stephen A. Smith, did you really have to wake up to see that this was viral? Come on.
So I go on the air and I said, the first thing that I'm going to do is establish that this was a father talking to me, not a player. What he was really talking about, which was confirmed with his conversation with Richard Jefferson, is that I was talking about him as a father. And so what happens is that had he said that to me, then I wouldn't have been thrown off. I'd have came right back at him. Which I'll get to in a second. But because he didn't do that, I said, fine, you let it go. Mind you, I just agreed to my contract.
Which is why I have to give Stephen A. Smith his props. You just got a tremendous payday. And you conducted yourself keeping all of this in the forefront, and you allowed LeBron James to go out here and embarrass himself, where I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that. They're going to say, oh, he was standing up for his son and whatnot. But Stephen A. Smith is very smart, man, very smart. And for him to be able to compose himself in that manner, because I do believe for sure, if this was a Charles Barkley or Kendrick Perkins or anybody else of that old school mentality, they would have forced LeBron James to put his money where his mouth is. And if LeBron James is really smart, stop running up on people. You are a billionaire. People will literally run into you and fall on the ground just to get a payday. Like, don't let your emotions get the best of you in that manner. At least doing it on camera. But kudos to Stephen A. Smith for keeping his composure, man, because I don't think the average man would be able to do that.
All we want to and act like we don't work for somebody. Damn it, I work for Walt Disney. And if I had gotten into some shit with him at courtside right there at that moment, no matter how right I would have been, it would have been wrong. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. But once I saw the tape of him talking to Richard Jefferson Saturday night in Boston, that was when I got really pissed, because that was confirmation.
And it came off a little bit like showboating, like LeBron James, like, yeah, I just punked his ass out, talking all that shit on First Take about this and that. And when you know you've been the bigger man and you know you digested it in a manner that most men wouldn't, and then you're going to see another viral clip of LeBron James pretty much, talking to Richard Jefferson about how he checked you, of course you're going to get angry. Of course you're going to get in your feelings. But Stephen A. Smith should have had this energy, this same energy, once it happened. It's nothing wrong with you respectfully telling someone to get out of your space and to come correct.
This man was the one that said, you want me, draft him. I'll come play anywhere he's at. It ain't even about the money. This man is the one who said he's better than some of the NBA players are right now.
Yep, here are the receipts. Man, Bronny definitely better than some of these cats I've been watching on League Pass today. Shit, lightweight hilarious. This was March 6, 2023. So yeah, these are the receipts, LeBron James. I don't understand what the confusion is when you went on a limb and said this, but yet you get mad at Stephen A. Smith for just holding you accountable. We're waiting to see what was so hilarious with Bronny James, because it seems like at the end of the day, shit was not lightweight hilarious.
If you go back and look at the tape, back then I said, stop. You can't do this. If you do that shit, You're bringing more pressure on your son. LeBron, stop. I said it then. This is before he got drafted. Stop doing this. He goes to USC. I'm not going to go see him at USC just like I didn't go see him at Sierra Canyon because, like, I ain't see Melo's son. I heard your son is all world. I ain't seen him. Your son, I never saw these guys until they came pro. I know that because of who I am and what I've established for myself in this industry, if I walk into an arena, everybody is looking for me to critique that person. And I don't want to do that because they want to come up.
It also seems like Stephen A. Smith was doing, LeBron James a favor, by not trying to cover Bronny James. And at the end of the day, I don't think that no one is questioning the father that LeBron James is. I certainly am not. I don't think that the world will question that either. I think over the course of years, people have caught a glimpse of what type of father you are, being that LeBron James did not have a father. But as far as Bronny James being scrutinized and, being covered, which the media is taking it easy on him, LeBron James, you do very well, much so, bear responsibility for that.
So why am I going to be there? I didn't want to put that extra pressure. So I never went. I went on national television and announced to the world, I'm not going to see him. He goes to USC. I'm not going to see him. It's too much. It's too much. And then now he's got to overcome this heart ailment, so I can't judge him. But then they said, oh, he's going pro. So then once you say he's going pro, okay, you're talking to the scouts and the evaluators and everybody else. Yo, man, this is them. He'll be lucky to be a second-round pick.
Even being a second-round pick, I mean, look at Bronny James's number percentages across the board. A lot of them are stuck in the 0 point something percentages. Were the evaluators wrong? Or was LeBron James so caught up on his career, so caught up on trying to make history, so caught up on trying to do something differently than what Michael Jordan did, that he just didn't care for Bronny's development? Because they don't like Bronny James in the G League. The Jameses don't like that. They're royalty. They don't want their son playing in the G League. And I think that deep down, Bronny heart is not in the NBA. I think that he's more of a content creator. I think he's a great screamer from what I've seen, a great gamer. That's his happy place. This is big boy business and politics involved. All of that stuff that a kid just doesn't have the attention span for. And you see it on the court. You see it on his face. Yes, it's probably fun to be in a locker room with pro players, but they know you don't deserve to be there. They know it.
Boston might be interested. Golden State might be interested. Phoenix might be. The Clippers might be. You start hearing all of this, and you're like, this could be true, or this could be them wielding their magic to make it look such a way. I say nothing. He gets drafted by the Lakers, which everybody knew was going to happen because, the skids were greased. I'm hearing all of this. Yeah, we just going to go along with it. Opening night I'm talking about. Opening night. And we just gonna go along with it.
The crazy part about it is you can tell that during the NBA draft, you saw Bob Myers just go off, the ex-general manager of the Golden State Warriors, because just going along with it doesn't work for everyone. You saw how he called out LeBron James, blocking other teams. Oh, if you guys try to draft Bronny James, then we're going to go overseas to Australia or something, or we're going to pull out. It was so much of just LeBron James flexing his power at the end of the day. And I saw it on Stephen A. Smith right away. I saw it on his face. I saw it on a lot of the analysts' face, that it was kind of painful to go along with this. And that's exactly what Stephen A. Smith is getting at. And he's been holding this in for so long. He's just like, somebody has to keep it real. Somebody got to tell the truth when it comes to LeBron James. And I think since LeBron James has always heard nothing but great things, he's starting to spiral out of control with his demeanor, his attitude, short-worded. He's throwing tantrums. And this is what happens when a guy has been spoiled and put on a pedestal, his whole NBA career.
The Lakers are just going along with it. You're hearing this stuff. Now, I'm not saying they told me that, meaning the commissioner or Jeannie Buss, but I'm saying you're hearing that from those organizations. So I'm getting all of this. I still say nothing. I'm cool. I'm at crypto.com arena. I'm one of those cats standing there. Ken Griffey, Senior and Junior, who all-stars, Hall of Famer, and Ken Griffey Jr. They got them there. And again, I've been covering this for 30 years.
And everybody knew that this whole thing was staged. Everybody knew exactly where Bronny James was going to get drafted. LeBron James has too much power in the NBA, which is why these owners essentially don't want him to ever be an owner of an NBA team. Just to have all this scripted and choreographed, the Griffins there making history, the photo ops, like it was just bad for the NBA. And since then, the NBA has done nothing but tanked. I don't think people understand that LeBron James has shifted the way people view the NBA, the way people respect the NBA, and the interest of fans are constantly dropping. Like nobody wants to go along with the shenanigans. We want to watch real basketball. And I get it. The father-son, great story, but it's not authentic at the end of the day. It's just not.
Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking, let's have this moment because LeBron deserves it. The brother, I got him number 2 all time behind Jordan, right? He's done so much for the league. He's generated so much money. I want to hear about Bronny and the $8 million. As far as I'm concerned, LeBron underpaid. This shit, that's $8 million he should have had in his pocket.
Underpaid, really. Underpaid. After everything that Jordan went through, getting the bare minimum, Jordan was in the single millions, guys. I need y'all to understand that until the tail end of his career, when he finally broke through with the max, $30 million contract or something like that. Really, Stephen A. Smith. See, these NBA players get ridiculous money, first off. LeBron James has represented the sport in a great way. I'm not going to lie, but some of this stuff that these people say is just asinine. Just
a big deal to me. But the one thing I did say was that one game right there is the moment. Now you got to go to the G League and earn your stripes.
Yep.
Instead, he's playing and playing and playing, and I'm getting stats, and he go against Philly. They put him in the first quarter.
Put him in the first quarter. Has not earned any stripes in the G League. Quincy Olivar, the undrafted rookie, who was putting on an absolute clinic, a show, is stuck in the G League because he was outshining Bronny James, and Bronny James gets to get all of the credit. Bronny James gets the call. Oh, you're averaging 2 points in the G League right now? Hey, how about you want to come play in Friday night's game against the Philadelphia 76ers? I mean, can we not call this for what it is? It's all shenanigans. It's all fraudulent. And nobody wants to admit that, but deep down, everyone knows the truth. Everyone knows. And if LeBron James thinks that going at Stephen A. Smith is going to silence people, he is sadly mistaken.
And then they plaster on SportsCenter 0.3 points, 0.3 rebounds, 0.4 assists, blah, blah, blah. And I said,
it's an NBA prospect, though.
Why? Because I'm like, now I can't ignore it. Because how am I doing my job?
Exactly. How can someone do their job and blatantly ignore what they are seeing from your son, LeBron James, who you promised was so ready for the NBA? Stephen A. Smith has to call it like it is, because there's only so many other things you can talk about revolving other sports, being that LeBron James is one of the bread and butter topics of First Take. And if you're going to address LeBron James, you got to address everything that comes with him.
Now you put me in a position where, because they put the stats up, everyone is blowing it up. They're putting it on all their social media pages, and it's like, how all of that's happening, but Stephen A. Smith got nothing to say. I can't get away with it no more. So I go on the air and I say the same thing I said over the summer. Yo, LeBron, if we see this, you're his dad. And you're a basketball savant. You must see this.
The problem is, Stephen A. Smith, LeBron doesn't want to see it. He wants to live in denial. He wants to say, this is my baby boy. I know what he can do. I've seen it. But if it doesn't translate onto the court, LeBron James, into what, fans pay to see, then he's going to be criticized. Rightfully so.
Don't do this. You because you're putting him under such a microscope. It's going to be too much for him to overcome. Give him a chance. The only reason I said as a dad is because you marketed yourself as his dad to help him get into the league. You didn't do that. Melo didn't do that, or it hasn't yet, and I know he wouldn't. D-Wade, Tim Hardaway Sr., Rick Barry, the list goes. None of them did that. None of them.
Point proven. Stephen A. Smith did a great job listing all of the fathers of these great former NBA players who just wouldn't dare do what LeBron James is doing right now, who wouldn't dare put their children out there in harm's way. And they want them to actually earn something, because as a man, you have to battle adversities. I can't go through every battle for my son. If I had one, I wouldn't go through every battle for him. He has to learn how to lose, just like he would have to learn how to win. That's what happens when you get a super privileged superstar like LeBron James, who is used to, swinging his hammer, flexing clutch sports, and having his way. And unfortunately, this isn't helping Bronny James at the end of the day. You guys let me know what y'all think about today's video. If you found any value, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop those comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.